All right, so keeping a woman happy may be the actual definition of insanity, right? And reason I say that is because women by nature, and women even know this, but women by nature are naturally insatiable. All right, they're naturally impossible to satisfy, right? And in reality, part of keeping a woman happy, if you want to use that term, if you want to go there, is to not keep them happy, right? You have, a lot of women would actually admit to you that they would walk over, and mistreat a man who is so-called, quote unquote, too good, right? Those are the type of dudes, the nice guy type, right? Those are the type of dudes that would, bend over backwards and do anything for whatever woman they're with at the time. And that woman would look at that man with disdain, and she would look down on him. She won't really have real respect for a dude like that, right? She won't really have true, genuine respect for a man like that, because it's not, they don't like the appeal of that. They don't really like the way that looks on a man, right? So you have footage floating around the internet, right? Especially on TikTok and all these other social media sites where you have women that are actually explaining how they would be dating a guy, and let's say they would go through his phone. One chick in particular told this story, how she went through her man's phone and she found out that he was cheating on her, right? And when she seen that, she said that she grew more and more respect for him as a man. She started to love him more, right? Now, reason being is that because women understand that it's in a man's nature, subconsciously, right? It's in a man's nature to have more than one woman. That's just natural for a man. Society says something else. So a lot of what we're dealing with here in a society or in any society is what's being taught versus what's innately in our nature. It conflicts, all right? It conflicts one another. Now, Kevin Samuels, he talked about the fact that he was married and his wife would give him what he referred to as starfish sex, right? She would give him, basically meaning that when they would bone, she would just lay flat on her back and just let him do his thing. Like she wasn't really into it at all. And it's more than likely due to the fact that he probably was more of an upstanding guy to his wife. Now, the reason why I say that is this, because he went on further to explain that once he cheated on his wife, because they separated, they didn't get divorced, but they separated, and he was boning his wife's cousin, right? And they got back together or whatever, and the word got around that that's what he was doing. As a matter of fact, they didn't get back together, but the word got around that that's what he was doing. And she comes back to this man, and everything out of her mouth was yes sir, no sir, yes sir, no sir. This is a woman that wouldn't respect this man, right? It took for him to do something that was more reckless, boning her cousin, in order for her to actually give him the respect that he deserved, right? Tia Son Johnson, he talked about the fact that him and his wife, they were together for all this time, and they had completely stopped having sex. I think he said for about 3 years they were not having sex. And he eventually, finally stepped out on her, and he had a little side relationship or whatever. And his wife finds out about it. She figures out what he was doing, and now all of a sudden they were having sex on the regular again, right? Women do not satisfying a woman, pardon me, has something to do with dissatisfying a woman. You jumping at her every beck and call, you doing everything that she needs, she's not going to respect you for that, right? She's not really going to respect you for that. It's part of the reason why a lot of the women in the black community, tend to aim for the more lower level dudes, all right? The guy that's going to bring a certain level of dysfunctionality and chaos into her life, right? One reason being that when the relationship fails, she get to point the finger at that man, right? And she gets to look like the good woman, the damsel in distress, the woman who was being mistreated, that did everything right and got dogged out anyways, right? They like to be able to fall into that victimhood programming, right? People with a perpetual victimhood mentality, they're very skilled at seeking out a scenario that would allow them to play the victim, to be the victim, right? But keeping a woman happy, that may be the actual definition of insanity. But anyway, peace.